It is an honor to now invite Mr. Sahil Ghuge to deliver an exciting talk on Founder Speak. Mr. Sahil is the co-founder of Protein Bites India. He is a BTech student at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. He has interned with companies such as NetScribes and Chilton. He was also the winner of the BSc Student Startup Hackathon held in 2019. So over to you, Sahil.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be associated with IEEE. I hope life's great, and I hope all of you are alert. So I'll keep this talk short since my journey's been short. I just started Protein Bites last December, and it's been like a hell of a ride for me. Graphs have been up, the success has been good. So starting by introduction, so I'm a lot of things. I'm a student, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a fitness enthusiast, and currently I'm in my final year studying at Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. So I started this company while I was in my third year. I co-founded this healthy snacking company, Protein Bites India, with my sister and my mother. So it's a family-run business. So what are we going to cover in this talk? Everything that I have learned so far in my student entrepreneurship journey. There were a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of challenges. There were a lot of learning. How I came up with the idea, how I decided to move forward with it, the problems that I faced along the way, and all sorts of things related to starting a business, and who is going to benefit from this talk. Anybody who has an idea. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in high school, it doesn't matter if you're still in school, it doesn't matter if you're employed, the rules are the same. The rules for growing a business are same for everyone. So you want to create something, right? You want to make lives of people better, you want to make the lives easier, and it's okay if you haven't figured out what you want to do, but you're willing to make an effort. That counts, right? So this session is a perfect place for you. So what exactly is Protein Bites India, right? So from Protein Bites name, it's something related to protein, it's something related to food. So it is a healthy snacking company, and our very first launch is chocolate truffles. So it is a sort of chocolate confectionery, chocolate truffles. It is a quite new concept in India. People are familiar with the normal Dairy Milk chocolates, Ferrero Rocher. So chocolate truffles is a quite new concept in India. It was originated back in 80s when a French chef came up with this confectionery for his kids during Christmas, and it became like a household, chocolate product abroad. So we sort of like went out of our way. We took the ownership and formulated a healthier version of this tasty chocolate. So now currently we have three flavors, starting with coconut, cocoa nuts, and peanut butter, and there are many more on the line. So what we do at Protein Bites India, we want you to understand that each ingredient that we use and why we use them. So like our truffles are made with like honest, locally sourced ingredients. There are no refined sugar, there's no artificial sweeteners, there's no preservatives. So you like what's different in Protein Bites India than other companies, right? So the major inspiration behind Protein Bites was nutrition. There were a lot of protein bar companies out there, there were a lot of protein snacks out there who claim to be healthy, but when you see the nutritional label, there were some shady ingredients, there were some chemicals added which are not that healthy for you. So we sort of went out of our way and we developed a product with all the ingredients that are right inside your kitchen. If you check our nutritional facts, all the ingredients, you'd understand the key what this ingredient is and what is the health benefit of that ingredient. So my number one tip for you going into this is you should not start this as a startup. You should not imagine this as a vast organization. The point, before even you provide your services together to people, you must know everything about that particular industry. You've got to be a learner. This is like so much important. People dream of becoming an entrepreneur, they plan to build this billion-dollar companies. It's okay to dream, but you shouldn't start that way. This is what I have learned. Before even you start giving your services, you should know about the business, you should know about your niche. For example, nutrition and fitness, they have always like sort of played a significant part in my life. I've been associated with this industry so long. Since my high school, I used to go swimming, I used to run marathons. So I've known about this industry inside out. So the industry is so familiar with me that it's easy for me to find a problem or the missing gap which I am facing in my day-to-day life. So maybe this is the reason why you haven't able to sort of find that idea, spot that dream idea of yours. So my suggestion for you guys will be, like, before even becoming a service provider slash entrepreneur, be a spectator, like learn new things, do your research, talk to people, and that dream idea is going to come find you. Now, so another philosophy which I stand by is like, you don't always have to wait for the next big thing, right? So Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, so you wouldn't stop to come around another social media, another e-commerce. There are already a lot of missing gaps in the industry that you need to be fixed, and which is, I guess, enough to build a profitable business for you. So going forward, now let's say you have found a problem. For me, the problem was there weren't healthy snacks out there. I mean, brands were claiming to be healthy, like I said, but the nutrition labels showed otherwise. So I had problem with the healthy snacks which brand provided. I had some side effects of that. My family had some side effects of that. So that's why I sort of started with a locally sourced brand. So many people don't pay attention to nutrition in India because they think it's like an expensive or luxury, or unnecessary, unless it's a medical emergency or altogether a pandemic. Say for example, people have started taking care of their health. They are seeing what is in their palate. They are figuring things out, what they should eat, they shouldn't. It like took a whole pandemic to sort of motivate people what they should eat and what they shouldn't. But obviously this is not a solid reason to go and start a company, right? So the first step which I took, and I'd suggest you to take, is market research. I cannot stress this enough. Market research is like one of the most important thing, because even before you invest into your company, even before you register the company, even before you plan to become an entrepreneur and start giving your services to the companies, to other people, you have to do market research, and extensive market research, like both online and offline. Like for example, in our case, we'd hand out truffles to our friends. We'd go, so chocolate truffle tastes good with coffee, so we used to go to random cafes, and we used to hand out chocolates to people in the mall, in random cafes, and we used to get their suggestions, right? Because suggestions is important. And we used to not charge anyone, we used to not charge our friends. It was just a good deed which we're doing. We're like donating our product free to the people. Obviously it was not a logical profit making idea to do, but we wanted our product to be like rock solid before even we sort of tested it and sent it to the lab, before even investing any money into it. So we went to the cafes, like I said, we gave the product to people, they tested it out, and we were like open to all the suggestions. And please be don't be a narrow minded person. Let the suggestions flow in. A lot of people sort of take it personally, and they're like, it's obviously it's your product, it's your baby, right? So you're going to be protective about it. If somebody says, Sahil, this truffle doesn't taste good, what is this? So rather than me getting pissed, I'm going to go back to my kitchen, I'm going to formulate new recipe for that. So while you are doing market research, make sure you are sampling any product. If you're offering a software, give it free to the companies. It might sort of be less profitable for your company, but it's going to give a solid foundation to build upon. Another thing which if it plays a major role in market research, is competitor research. Now you already might have competitor in the same segment, but you don't have to worry, because everybody sees a problem through different perspective. So if you can get the job done in a better way, you're gonna surpass the competitor in like few years. So if you have a different perspective than your competitor, there are fair chances that you're going to be end up into a profitable business. So market research, competitor research. The next thing I'll suggest obviously is find your niche. So the last thing you want is you develop your product, you set up your company, the branding is done, you don't know who to sell, who's your target consumer. So the presence of competition isn't necessarily a bad thing in this scenario, because your competitor has sort of already sort of made a foundation for you. He has already prepared the niche for you. You just have to enter the segment. So finding a niche is very, very important, because while marketing, you have to target those consumers, and your energy is saved in that, and your lot of efforts are saved. Your resources are not wasted when the audience you have chose is very particular. So finding your audience is going to play a significant part while doing your market research. So have fun in finding your audience, because the last thing I said, don't sell your product to somebody who don't need your services. They're just going to end up being pissed, right? uh, just a second, there's a problem. Yeah. So now that you have done your market research, you have narrowed down your niche. Now the next time you start thinking about a solution and putting together a business plan, you have to sort of note down a couple of points. You have to make a document which consists a vision for your company, a problem statement, a solution to that problem statement, and another planned milestones. Now you'd be like, why a business plan is necessary? Why is it necessary at all? I already have a it in my mind. Because business plans is necessary because when I started up, it was difficult for me to explain people how I'm going to overcome the problem, what is my timeline. So when I used to sit down with investors, when I used to sit down with business people, when I used to sit down with my mentors, it became much easier to explain them what I'm trying to do and what are the problems in the industry. A single document which you're going to put your efforts into is going to make your life a lot easier, believe me. Coming to mentor, I cannot stress this enough. You have to find a mentor who has like experienced the highs and lows of running a business, and who is especially in a perfect position, who can give you like words of advice, who can tell you when to choose a different path, who can tell you when to stop. Like in my case, college professors have been like a backbone to me. Since in ICT, there's a chemical department, there's a food department, so they have been standing right besides me since day one. When I started, even when I came up with this idea, my another mentor, like I said, he's just in this call today morning. He had session. Let me introduce him, Dinesh Israni sir. So he had a morning session. I hope you attended that, because he has guided me through ups and downs. He have motivated me when I was like blindsided by the reality. So he has sort of pushed me through. So maybe you can interact with him, maybe you can interact together with him after this talk. So Dinesh Asani sir has played like a vital role in my journey. Another thing which I'll come to while starting a business, and this is the X factor of your company, is pricing. Today morning, Dinesh Asani sir also stressed on this. Pricing plays a very important role. Another here again, competitor is like your brother. You have to stick to him. You have to watch out what he is doing. For example, PNG and Hindustan Unilever, they have been like in a price war for a long time. They sometimes offer free shampoos. They sometimes tease each other by cutting down prices. This is a proper example of competitor comparison. So you have to watch out for competitors. You can't run alone in this game. You're going to get blindsided. Another thing when it comes to pricing is, in my case, it was ingredients, at what price I'm getting them. And obviously whenever you are pricing your product, you don't have to just sort of get numbers and sort of add it and make a price, add your profits into it. You have to cut it down. You have to see how is it feasible. Will the consumers buy it? Are they buying it for the competitor's product at that same price? Because when you are into a food business, the one thing which I have learned is like, consumer is a god. Like, you have to stick to the consumer. And another thing at the back end, a lot of people neglect is obviously the gross margin, your cost, labor, marketing. These all things are going to play an important role in that. Business does not mean just like a sell your product, take the profits and go home. You have to invest it back into the company. You have to make it a sustainable company. So you have to plan out for your finances even before you start with the solution. You start with offering your services, you go public. Now, coming to the fun part, this is like my favorite part when it came to Protein Bites, and it is also a crucial part, same as pricing. It is branding and packaging. Now, for any company launching its product, packaging plays a vital role, because you have heard about this, first impressions the last. If your packaging is like more attention grabbing than other products on the shelf, is going to get you the first buy, right? Whenever we go to some supermarket, we are attracted by the packaging, we are attracted by the colors. So the first buy is going to happen. The consumer is going to go and pick up your product just because of your packaging. Because in a flood of products in the supermarket, your packaging should stand out. It should grab your eyeballs. So whatever industry you are, your website design, your packaging, your app design, the consumer experience is going to play a big part. So the customer has bought the first buy, then comes how strong your product is, right? So the consumer has already bought your product, he's going to try it out, and if the product is like solid, the consumer is going to come back again and again. So another important role, and which is very interesting, even I had a subject on this. So college played an important role in this, color physics. So color is very important when it comes to your packaging. Like say for example, you might have noticed, or you should notice this next time you go into the supermarket. uh, Black and purple color are known for like royal and luxury products. So we consider Cadbury as a sort of royal product. So black, purple, golden, they are sort of considered as luxury products. So it's like consumer sentiment. They see the product, they automatically sort of think about the price, and they are like more comfortable towards it. Also, name of the company, Protein Bites India, it directly gives you the idea what the company is about. We don't want to overthink that. We just want to keep it plain and simple. It should explain what the company is doing, what are the it should just sort of make the consumers comfortable what the company is actually doing. We don't want to keep any fancy names. This is the psychology which I stand by. All right, now all the back end job is done, you're ready, you want to start a business. All right, we go public now. Now this is the main part. So time for marketing and outreach. Now this is where the real job starts. Like in this competitive industry, you want people to know about your startup. And I've seen a lot of colleagues of mine, a lot of young entrepreneurs who are like really scared to go out of go out and tell their ideas. They're like, they're going to steal my idea. But of course, even if they do steal your idea, you're like 1000 steps ahead of them, because the idea came naturally to you. You have thought about it, the strategies which you're going to do. So don't be afraid, go out, talk to people, get their opinions. This is how you're going to grow your business. The more people are going to know about your business, the more word of mouth is going to spread, and more people are going to come to know about your business. So what I did, like while marketing and outreach, so we were like on a very 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 tight budget, because there was no external source of income for us. Me and my sister sort of used our saved money from internships and stuff, and started this, bootstrapped this company. So we didn't have fancy money for to put into marketing and stuff, because we majorly allocated our funds on packaging. If you check the Protein Bites packaging, you'll see that it's like done professionally, but originally it was done all by us. So we put like a major chunk of our efforts into the packaging. So when it came to marketing, we went on to social media. I collaborated with a lot of small media companies. I went to a lot of startup competitions. Some of them I won, which got me a lot of exposure. And then I hosted a lot of talks. Then there were small business groups where I went out. There were Facebook groups where I was publishing. So at the end of the day, this was like free marketing for me. I didn't have to spend any money. I just sort of invited myself to the events, and I just was marketing my product to the public. So this became word of mouth, and the word spread. And today Protein Bites has about 6,000 followers on Instagram, which is like a huge milestone for us. Even before sort of this, before our 1 year anniversary. So there's a major achievement that we have done. So talking like from the business point of view, we follow the 4 P's of marketing. You might know them already: product, price, place, and promotion. So the product should be rock solid. No compromise in that. If the product is good, it's going to do marketing by itself, because the word of mouth is like the most powerful source of marketing. Price, obviously, you don't want to sort of keep high margins. You're going to make this money, and I'm going to go home. You have to keep healthy margins, obviously, but your price should be competitive. Your price should be affordable. Consumers first, always. Place, where are you selling the product? We are currently selling it online because of the COVID thing. We are planning to go offline as soon as the COVID scenario changes. So the place where you're selling the product is very important. We are tying up with HealthCart. We are tying up with healthy e-commerce websites. We are tying up with Amazon, Flipkart. So the place where you're selling your product is very important. The most important thing is obviously your home ground, your own website. So you have to work on that. You have to make it consumer friendly. So it's going to play a crucial role, because the first buy is going to come from your website. When it's online, they're not just going to get surprised like the product is already available on Amazon, and they're going to go and order on Amazon. They're obviously going to come to your social media, they're going to come to your website, and they're going to buy it. And then later on, when they see it on Amazon and Flipkart, they're going to convert it into multiple sales, and it's going to get you the second buy, third buy, fourth buy. Then promotion, you have to promote your products. And even if you don't have money, I just gave you ideas. Go participate into competitions, go collaborate with small media companies. They need startup ideas in this growing Indian economy. Go to Startup India, register yourself as a company. The government is already helping a lot. We can't complain in that. So the government wants you to start your own company. The government wants you to generate employment. So these are the 4 P's of marketing which you can do, when which I did, which was like affordable and in a budget and didn't cost any large bucks. But obviously you can go with the social media marketing, digital marketing, where obviously you're going to need money. But if you want to go it in a sort of budgeted way, these are the paths you can follow. Now we have been doing our marketing, we have been getting sales. The picture doesn't end here. You have to go back to your consumer, because I've been saying since the start, your consumers are the backbone of your companies. So we sort of went to our consumers. We just covered the complete map of India. We have been getting orders from throughout the India. So we sort of went back to our consumers and we asked them what made them buy Protein Bites, what made them come back to the website, what motivated them to sort of call other people, give referral codes to other people, and bring them back to our website. So we went back to them and we sort of had a conversation with them. How was the experience? And obviously we got a lot of opinions from them, and we implemented that, and the company grew. It became as a catalyst for the company. So even when we started, so we changed our formulations twice, because initial round when we did a crowd tasting, and the formulations were pretty good. But after a couple of months, we got more reviews, and then we went back to our labs, we formulated the new flavors, and then we came back to the public, and it's going good so far. So obviously we faced a lot of problems while we are starting up, obviously in such a bootstrapped conditions. So the major problems which I had was running a brand at such a young age and severely bootstrapped conditions have like taught a lot of lessons to me personally and professionally, and I'm still learning. So personally, setting realistic deadlines and also managing a startup with studies and college assignments like gets hectic a lot, since that you have to do like all of you might be students here, you have to like do a compulsory internship while you are in third year. And running a company with that is pretty difficult, I might say, not bragging here. And professionally, we are still figuring out different strategies, launching new flavors, new products, getting more consumer base, attracting people to healthy lifestyle. So these are some of the things which we have constantly focusing on, and this are going to be on our palette for like a very, very, very long time, since being a startup which is not which is only for like 7 or 8 months old. So you might be thinking, you're just a student, where did you get your funding from? So as I said, me and my sisters used our funds. We bootstrapped the company. We got some of the funds from our parents. So we bootstrapped the company all by ourselves. We are actively looking for funding. Currently, we also offer business consulting to other baby startups which we are just starting out. So even they face a lot of problems: how to get online, how to attract eyeballs, how to go around packaging. So the major thing about your journey is like you're going to learn a lot of things, no doubt. You'll learn like 1,000 different things, and you obviously you can get all those things done by throwing money at it. But when I learned to build a website, I learned to sort of make the packaging of my company by my own. I did my Instagram aesthetics by my own. I did the mood board by own. So me and my sister, we learned a lot of things on our way, and which are like helping us now to offer business consulting to other baby startups. So this was a crucial part which we learned. So yeah, so at the end of the talk, obviously I would like to thank my friends and families who have always been there, and they have supported me from the day I stand. So I don't know, I'd motivate you to go out to your friends and sort of bring them to the startup space. It's a lot healthier, you learn a lot, and of course your friends are gonna wish good for you. So maybe involve them in your journey, motivate them to help you out. And one day we at Protein Bites, and one day we hope to make snacking a choice between flavors and not health for everyone. Thank you. It was great talking to you guys.
Tom?
Sahil, you already have one more fan in your list. Amay Gadbe has put up a message. Your market research is brilliant. Your product is common, but you're unique.
Thank you so much, Amay. Means
That's
a lot.
that's that's a great compliment. And Sahil, I think the students out here would definitely have this question: how difficult is it to manage assignments of college and a startup?
So it's pretty difficult. So when we started last December, we had our exams in the month of January, and like I said, your friends play a very important part. My friends used to constantly help me. They used to share notes. There were a lot of late nights where they used to teach me before exams, because they knew I was building something meaningful, and they believed in it. When they believed in me, they believed in the product, so they helped me along the way. And since the COVID scenario, it has been a blessing. Since the world has slowed down, literally it has slowed down, so that you can go and learn your skills. So there are no more excuses now, so we have a lot of time in our hand. So I sort of, it's very important to plan out your day, and it's very important to for you to sort of be around good friends, because at the end of the day they are going to help you. They're going to, because I missed a lot of lectures, and they were the one who sat all night long teaching me the concepts which helped me in my exam. So this is how I sort of managed it. If it wouldn't have been COVID, I would have still been busy with my curriculum and my academics.
Fabulous. I hope, Rugved, you got your answer. This was for you only.
I guess Ritika has some questions. She has a raised hand.
Sir, the chocolate paper was only of the color black, brown, or purple, or any other color will be applicable.
Yeah, so Ritika, at the like there are a lot of colors. I just used purple because you could relate with Cadbury, right? Because it is like royal and rich. There can be other colors, obviously. There are a lot of colors. There's a wide range of colors. There's a separate topic, color physics. You should read about it. So it sort of explains you how brands go around deciding their colors and how it plays a vital role. Even I thought like they just choose random colors. Red is my favorite, I'm going to choose red. Orange my favorite, I'm going to choose orange. But no, it's just a history behind that. Like they go through so many things. They sort of jot down so many important factors, and then they choose the color of their product. So you should read about it, and it's like mind blowing. It's very interesting.
Well, Sahil, you can add me to your fun list as well. Yeah, so as we all know, ICT has a number of various branches. So looking at your product, how much did having a branch such as food tech in your college help you?
So the funny thing, you're all gonna laugh here. I'm not originally from foods. My specialization is in textiles. So it's okay. Like I said, learn a lot of things. The food industry. I came into nutrition while I was working out. I used to run marathons a lot. So I was familiar with the nutrition part of the food industry, which has helped me. But obviously, your professors are gonna professors like are your number one well wishers. They want you to succeed in the outside industry. So I just pulled out the names of my teachers who were into the food department. I dropped them an email. Even they were surprised what a textile kid is doing into the food sector. And but at the end of the day, they sort of helped me and guided me. And so from everything, like from FSSI licensing to the registration of company, they have guided me throughout my way. So whatever you do, whatever you are planning, reach out to your parents, reach out to your teachers. And like I said, you need a mentor. Find a good mentor who will help you in your journey.
That's great.
Rahul, there are a couple of questions in the chat box. Can you take them with Sahil?
Yes, sir, for sure. So Sanchali wants to ask that can you please elaborate how to reach out people on social media and how to grab the perfect consumer?
So yeah, Sanjali. So social media has been growing fast, and the creator economy is booming. Like everybody is a creator now, and it's good that everybody has a follower. You have a say in the market. So how to reach out on social media? How to reach people on social media? Your marketing and your product. You're gonna start it. You have to sort of. So what I did to finding sort of grabbing my niche is I started with the consumers who are already into the fitness industry. So people who are already working out, people who already know a thing or two about nutrition, I sort of targeted them while starting out. So I targeted influencers, I targeted a lot of people who have already been associated in the industry and who know a thing or two about nutrition. So from them, I sort of started to widen up my base. We started preaching how, like, why nutrition plays an important part for you, how nutrition is going to change your life, and how nutrition is going to support you in your day-to-day life. So we sort of maintained, like, we sort of started giving awareness to the people how nutrition is an important role, and they sort of came to us and they became our niche. But initially when we started with the people who are already into the fitness sector, because it is much easier, right? Because you already know something about that industry, it is much easier to get you on board rather than a person who has an unhealthy lifestyle. But at the same time, what we did is we gave a helping hand to that person, and we sort of got him on board uh, in our uh, in our consumer base, in our niche. So this is how we are, and we will be touching lives of people one day at a time.
Sir, Ria Modi has a question. What are the skills or knowledge that you require before opening any startup? Like what all that you need to actually study?
You don't need to study anything, Ria. So when I started out, I didn't know anything. Like I wasn't like a kid who just wanted to become an entrepreneur. I saw a problem and I got a platform, which is my Protein Bites. It's a platform which is a solution to the problem. So I just went and started. You learn a lot of books. Obviously, learning books is gonna give you a lot of knowledge, a lot of theory knowledge. But when you start at ground zero, the reality is different. While you're going, you're gonna learn a lot of things by your own. You're gonna then the books knowledge, sometimes it's applicable, but not all the times. So like I said, you need a mentor who has been through that journey and who is like in real life. You can just reach out. So I've reached out to Dinesh Israni sir a lot of times, so he has guided me through that. Obviously, our professors. And sometimes what I do is I just randomly go to LinkedIn and I DM the industry professionals who is working into the food sector, who is working into the healthy snacking sector. They don't see me as a competitor, they see some kid who is trying to build his company. So I've got on calls with them, so they have sort of given me guidance how to go about it and what the industry demands.
Yeah, Ved has asked a question like, can you state some problems you faced while starting and running the company?
So like the major problem was for me was like I said, they were severely bootstrapped conditions, so the funding was a major problem. But obviously we put our funds, accumulated funds, in the right place, and we started. So while starting a company, the major thing is going to play a part is your finances. How good are you with your money? A lot of businesses fail because they weren't that good with handling the money. You should know what is important, and obviously everything is important. Marketing is important, giving discounts is important, but at what time you should give a discount, at when should you give discounts, where should you spend your money. Even if you have like a tight budget, there are a lot of services online, there are a lot of freelancers online who give you sort of provide you services at a very cheap rate. This is the beauty of entrepreneurship getting developed in India. There's a lot of competition, so people give you a lot of discounts, be it designing your website, be it designing your sort of packaging, be it shipment rates. There is so much competition. You can like ask people for discounts. This is how you can save money. There are so many dealers out there, there are so many dry food dealers out there. Everybody wants to sell their products, so reach out to them, ask them for discounts, tell them you want to go to another supplier if they don't give you any discount. So save your money and put it in the right place.
Yeah, Milind Dande sir has asked a good question here. So the quality control in India is not that great. All labels make tall claims. Anyone can get FSSAI license. So what's your take on this?
this is was the this is the problem which we are trying to tackle, Milind sir. Obviously, when you go to US, the food regulations are very tight. But when it comes to India, they claim sugar free. You have seen, like, they have written boldly sugar free, but they use maltitol and other stuff, which is going to come back, and it's gonna damage your microbes in your stomach, and it's not good for your gut health. So I'm not getting too much technical, but it's not good for your gut health. So this is what we are planning moving forward, that the regulations start to improve, they make it a bit more tighter. But at the same time, at Protein Bites, we really don't care if they are fooling the consumers. We want our labels to be plain, we want our labels to be clean, which we have kept since the day one. We want to sort of keep moving in our lane in this side. If people are fooling you, the karma is going to come back, and it obviously is going to take you down. The way the honey market went, a lot of people were claiming their honey to be natural, but there were a lot of mixtures in that. But we really don't care about that. All we care about is our consumers getting a quality product at a perfect price.
Sir, Sanil Patil has a question. How did you keep up with the FDA guidelines?
So obviously, when you sort of start a product, there are a lot of FSSAI license, there are a lot of things. So anything and everything which you use in your product. So we learned about nutrition. We sort of clubbed everything together. We formulated a product, and we sent it to the testing. We sent it to labs to see, is it feasible, and is everything right that we are claiming. Like, whenever you claim there are no colors, there are no preservatives, there are no additives, so you have to get it tasted before you test it through the labs before you claim that. So there were a lot of lot of to and fro with the labs. There were a lot of changes in the formulations, but after some time, which took like the greatest time, because your product is the most important thing, we got our approval and we started our thing.
Also, what's the number of employees, like approximate number of employees that are currently working under Protein Bites currently?
So currently, the marketing and the website is handled by me and my sister. There are people at the factory. There are a few people at the factory who sort of look after the quality control of the place. And again, there are people for shipment. So there are other companies, about 6 to 7 people big right now.
So do you feel the need to expand at this moment?
No, at this moment, obviously not, because we are actively been looking for funding. So as soon as we get the funding, obviously any company dreams of big expanding. But in this COVID scenario, we have been taking steps one by one day at a time, because we don't want to risk it by going all in. So we are sort of analyzing the market and moving forward.
So Sahil, I can expect a job in your company soon, right?
Sir, you are already in the company.
So that was my next question, actually.
You're already in my company. So some people have been asking me for my contact. You can directly reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'll just share my name. It's Sahil Guge. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. So my surname gets a bit tricky. So I've shared my name. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm a student at Institute of Chemical Technology. So reach out to me. We'll have chat. Maybe we'll discuss things. Maybe we'll add Dinesh Asrani sir to the call. We'll discuss things with him. He's like a great mentor. He has been a great mentor to me, and his suggestions have helped me a lot.
There is one more thing which I would like to add. Sahil, why haven't you told them about your passion on Instagram? Something which I'm extremely fond of. Guys, you must visit his Instagram handle, and Sahil, please tell them what you do on Instagram.
So my Instagram is like just for fun. If you want to follow me, follow me. So I just sort of I wanted to keep my artistic side alive. So I keep posting content on my Instagram. It's just for fun. So it is not related to this talk. So if you want to follow me, it's obviously Sahil Guge. Come follow me. We'll have a talk there. But obviously all things fun over there.
Basically, what he does is he makes fun of all the big companies that are there in across the globe. He makes fun of all the companies,
Uh,
with a lot of fun element in it. So you guys must watch it. It's really interesting, and that is one thing, Sahil. I keep looking out for your videos. I keep looking out for your videos.
yeah. What do
Rahul, there's a question from Ria. I guess you could read it out, please.
So, what do you feel would have been different if you had started Protein Bites before COVID?
nothing? It would have been the same thing. But only it would have been a lot more difficult because at my colleges, I would have to attend lectures and then maintain the attendance, and also it would have been much more difficult before COVID. So COVID, this is like just a personal suggestion for you guys. Go out, do whatever you want, because we really aren't doing anything in this of COVID pandemic. We are at home, so we can, like, my friends learned a lot of skills. People started playing guitar, some of them became musicians. I started my own company, some of them started writing their own book. So go out, like, this is our time. Like, we can take risk before we get on a job or something, but this is our time. We can do anything we want. So it's just a friendly, like a from one friend to another suggestion.
So can you tell us about our future plans?
So yeah, so Protein Bites, like I said, we are expanding into new flavors. We are waiting for COVID to sort of come into control a bit. We are gonna go offline big time, and we are planning to launch more products, more variety, and not just normal bars that you get in your shops. We want to change the snacking scenario for like adults as well as kids, because kids nutrition is something which is overlooked a lot in our country. We just give our small brothers and sisters biscuits and tea and lays and anything, so which is a major important role. Nutrition, which we are planning to focus on. Kids nutrition is the next thing which we are planning to get into.
Sahil, people have asked for your Insta ID, so you could put it up in the chat box.
Please just don't come and troll me there. I went directly. Oh, just a second. So Sahil Ghuge _ come say hi to me. We'll talk business and also fun things. Thank you, Amay.
Sahil,
Again.
did you answer Milind sir's question? Can you share your current turnover?
So Milind sir is getting into financial. So yeah, so we have so it's we just started last December, so we have made sales over 3 lakh rupees, which is a huge thing for us, because what we planned was much less, but we have been growing at a great speed, and we want to keep that graph up. So I think, Milind sir, you're happy. Maybe you fund us. I'm joking.
Congratulations. I'm quite impressed, and just want to once again voice my appreciation. At this young age, in the current circumstances, I think you have done something fantastic, and I think you are a role model to almost everybody in today's session. So thanks and congrats once again.
Not role model. Consider me as your friend. I'm just like, don't treat me something else. Like, I'm your friend. Reach out to me. I'm like a batchmate.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me here. Cheers, guys. I hope life's great. Thank you.
So Milind sir is basically from Goa. He's been watching your session from Goa.
Okay.
I think Amay has a question. How do you manage your orders?
So we have, like I said, means if you stay in Mumbai and your orders in Pune, yeah, Amay. So a lot of, like I said, the Indian startup place is going. A lot of delivery companies are, a lot of supply chain. The supply chain is getting better every day. So there are a lot of platforms like ShipRocket, Delivery, FedEx, Ecom Express. Amazon is starting to offer deliveries. Reach out to them. Sort of add your business, subscribe your business on that platform. Shipments become very, very, very easy these days. So but they provide 3-day deliveries. Yeah, so if it's in like far places, like if we get an order from Delhi or say Kerala, we send it by flight. So the shipment charges are a bit more expensive, but we don't charge anything extra for our consumers, because like I said, consumer is first. We just want our chocolates to get to you as soon as possible. And the major thing is keep the chocolate sort of, you get the cravings and you want the chocolate right away. So this is why we are planning to go offline as soon as the COVID pandemic ends, because if you are craving for a chocolate, you want it like in 5-10 minutes. You don't want to wait for 3 days. You raised a good question. This is what we are planning, and this is what we have in our expansion plans. But again, in order to fulfill the orders, you gotta wait, because we can't help it. The flight is the easiest option. It takes about 2 days to reach Delhi, but other than that, we can't help, because flight is the only option which we can adapt to.
So there was one more question. How did you overcome setbacks?
So overcoming setback, it is like your everyday thing. It becomes very normal. Like, if you start a business, and there are going to be setbacks every day. So the major thing which I ended up doing was, this was like a major setback for me, not a setback but a mistake. So what I did was, like, I overstocked a lot starting up in the month of December. Even I got excited, like, I'm starting with my business. The hype was real. I was like, I'm going to get a lot of orders the day one. And it started to grow. But the major problem and the major tension I had, I had a lot of inventory stored up already. So this was a mistake which I did. So you're gonna learn it. Like, once you get your hands dirty, you're gonna start figuring out what you should do and what you shouldn't. And like I said, Srishti, you have to find a mentor, who would guide you and who would pull you back from that setback, because most of the businesses fail because they just give up. But first 1,000 days are very crucial. First 1,000 days, you shouldn't expect anything from your business. It is you just testing the waters. After 1,000 days, you might start to think what strategies you have to change and what all things you have to do. But like first 1,000 days are like very, very, very crucial, and we are currently in those in that period. So I am not over promising. I'm setting boundaries and I'm growing organically.
Dinesh sir, as Sahil's mentor, how would you describe his journey so far?
Sorry, Rahul, you said something. I just missed it.
Yeah, sir. I said, as Sahil's mentor, how would you describe his journey so far?
So I saw this kid basically for the first time at BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, where there was a competition, and he had participated in that competition, and he had a good idea. Very immature though. They gave a presentation, and I was there. I mean, so when we went inside the room to discuss on the results, they were actually, somewhere there on the tops only. But then me and one or two other judges were so impressed by them that we decided that we should give it to them. And they were the first prize winners. Later on, I got to know that it was a last-minute entry. They were not supposed to be a part of it. And that's when I think our association started, Sahil. And I was actually going to tell you this, that you've come a long way from what I heard you at Bombay Stock Exchange, and today the way you were talking, you're so confident, and it's brilliant. And guys, I'll tell you one thing: this guy has really, really, really put in an effort. And let me tell you that it's been a complete thing. He's done well with his academics, that because his friends have been helping him out in the nights. He has been having his share of fun because I have been stalking him quite a lot on his social media. So he's been having his regular fun. He's focused on his work. And if you actually go on his Insta handle, you'll understand how this guy has reached here. So I'm really impressed, Sahil. At least after hearing your today's session, I realized the amount of work that you have done. Actually, today I realized the amount of work that you have done setting this up. Great, great. There's a great change in you. There's a great change in you, and yes, you're almost there. You're almost there now. So, all the best.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure there are many more who will be learning from you and will be walking the path and coming out as entrepreneurs. Am I right, Rahul? So hopefully, Rahul, in the next 2 or 3 years, I see you talking here and you speaking at this platform and giving us your journey. Right, Rahul?
Would be glad. Hope to see you there soon.
Yeah. Should be. Sahil, it's been a wonderful thing. So
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
And I hope to see you soon as a more matured entrepreneur. Yeah. Sanil Patil has a question. How do you preserve your products without preservatives?
Yeah, so Sanil, this is the major thing, because since we didn't use any preservatives, there were a lot of to and fro's in the formulation. So when it comes to food products, when you go to the food technology side of it, what ingredients you add and what ingredients fit together play a vital role. So currently we have been increasing our shelf life. So it was only 1 month before, but then we worked on it. We sort of changed the formulations without changing the taste. We just spiked the ingredients up and down to reduce the moisture content, and now the shelf life is about 3 months. So, and the another set of testing is pending where we could reach till 5 months. So like I said, it's a journey, right? You don't start. So you'll slowly get there, but you constantly have to evolve yourself. So currently we have a shelf life of about 3 months.
Sir, did you face weight dispensing problem in delivery?
All the time. They just want to make money, but it's okay. What happens is, like, there are a lot of shipments. Even I used to face a lot of weight discrepancy problems. So there are a lot of shipments. So what happens is, while weighing them, sometimes if your shipment weight is 200 grams, it comes out to be 1 kilo, because the workers there, they just want to get their job done and they want to go home, and there are like a lot of big shipments. Our shipment is small, it's only like 200 grams. So there were a lot of weight discrepancies problem, and we still get those problems, but it's a manual thing. We have to fight it back. Sometimes we get our money back, sometimes we don't, but it's a part of business cost. And since we are a small organization, we can't sort of directly go to the parent company and ask them to give some sort of a special treatment. So this is one of the part which we have to keep doing. We have to keep emailing, we have to keep calling consumer support. But the weight discrepancy problem it's a manual problem. It's not automatic where like all the shipments go, they get weighted and all. They keep it, they pick it up, so the weight gets entered. So they won't wait until the right weight has come on the screen. So it is a problem. So we lost a quite chunk of amount there, and we also recovered some of the amount. But it is a very very irritating thing, I'll say, because it costs a lot. Because even if your weight shifts to like from 500 grams to 1 kg, your like amount doubles. And since it is from flight, so for the shipping charges of 80 to 90 rupees, it becomes 200 and 250 rupees, which is greater than the product itself. So we have been dealing with that. We have been exchanging to and fro calls with the consumer support. So it has been like a constant thing for us.
So there's one last question on YouTube from Tanmay Ramani. Was someone saying something on Zoom? So yeah, when you saw the problem, what was your thinking at that time, and like how did you come up with this? Like, you will solve this problem and you will build this particular startup.
So yeah, what happened was, once my I got gifted this chocolate truffles, and I got very fond of them. I used to love eating them, but it had a lot of chocolate and it was very unhealthy. This was when I was in high school or something. So my mom used to keep making this truffle. So it was like a family recipe which was like a healthy truffles. We used to add dry fruits, we used to add cocoa, we used to add a lot of things, and it turned out to be like very tasty. And so I have a protein powders allergy, so I get a lot of acne when I start eating those protein powders. So I sort of used to eat these truffles, and then before and post my working out and post my runs. So we used to constantly eat that. Like my mom and I used to make them during weekends, and we used to store them, and then we used to eat. But then I handed it out to my running buddies, so they were like, it is very tasty. So it like we sort of got bored with all those protein bars, because protein bar is not feasible for a normal person who's just want to keep maintain a healthy lifestyle. The protein bar directly gives you 20 grams of protein, and for a kid it is not good, because kids require a small intake of proteins. Teenagers also require a small they need a sufficient protein, and like a protein bars and all this stuff, they add a lot of dirty stuffs in that, preservatives in that, flavors in that. So we sort of decided to capitalize on that, and we sort of decided to go ahead with this. But like for a very long time we were just handing it out to my friends because they were demanding it. So we saw it ki okay, there might be a market demand for this sort of thing. So we went ahead with it. It was a huge risk. Obviously it's never going to be 100% like foolproof. It was a huge risk. We went ahead with it, and we have been doing great since then.
Amazing. So we won't take more of your time. Just this one final thing. So what's your final piece of advice for all the people, all the students, especially that are watching this right now?
So the only advice I'll just give is go for it. You don't have to overthink for it. I never did. I just went for it. The same way Dinesh Rani sir said, the BSE hackathon competition, it was my very first competition in the business case. We weren't even registered for the event. We just showed up to the place. We gave our pitch was the last, and we weren't even dressed. Believe me, I was like in a t-shirt and jeans, while the rest of the crowd, there were like about 25 to 30 teams. They were properly suited up, and they were like wearing suits and all. So we were like the most unprepared team. We just showed up to the venue. We prepared our thing. We went on the stage confidently. We gave the pitch, and we won. So just go for it. This is the same thing which I have been doing with Protein Bites. I'm just taking a leap of faith. Obviously, to go for it, you don't have to like just go for it. You have to analyze the risk, where you are investing your time. You have to first see if this is the industry you want to get into, and then once you start, then there's no looking back. But obviously you also need to know where to stop. That's what mentors and professors are going to do for you.
Thank you, sir, for an enlightening session. Indeed, your entrepreneurial journey is really astonishing and inspiring. On behalf of IEEE Bombay section and the entire organizing team, we express a heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Sahil Ghugge for his valuable time and insightful presence. Thank you so much, sir.